All right, welcome everybody to this quick new session that we launched recently. This is 7 ways to improve your insurance business in 2022 when the market is correcting. All right, so I know there's a lot of people here. It's a free session. We want to welcome you. If this is your first time joining one of Dr. Sanjay Tolani's event, welcome to the family. For everybody that's coming back, it's great to see you again. All right, for all that are here, thank you. We do have another session actually next week as well. So that's a paid session, but this one's a free session. So for all, the more of you that are here, again, welcome. So this is 7 ways to improve your insurance business in 2022 when the market is correcting. Of course, hosted by Dr. Sanjay Tolani. If you don't know Dr. Sanjay, he is now 21 years in the business. He's 20 times MDRT, 2 times COT, and 16 times TOT member. Right, Dr. Sanjay does insurance every single day of his life. And while a lot of you may feel like this is the first time in a while that markets have been going crazy, market crashing, probably a lot of your clients have lost a lot of money in the stock markets. Funds are down. This is not new to Dr. Sanjay. He will be able to explain and teach all of you how to actually improve your insurance business even when the markets are down. All right, so we have a few announcements, of course. Please make sure you have downloaded the PDF notes for today's session. This will help you follow along with whatever Dr. Sanjay will be covering in today's session. But otherwise, please welcome our family leader and our mentor, Dr. Sanjay Tolani.
All right. Thank you very much. Guys, first of all, I'd love to know where you are from. So if you don't mind writing down which country you're from in the chat box, that'll be absolutely amazing. I do want to know where you're from so I can share some very relevant market information with you about your market so you know that it's relevant to exactly what you're doing in your current market. So if you don't mind, just write down the country you're from. Gives me an idea from, what I could share with you, etc. Right, so we've got people from Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, Hong Kong, New Zealand. Wow. Okay, Singapore, great. From Chennai, Rajesh, nice to see you. Awesome. Lawrence from Mexico, good morning. Yes, it is really early in the morning for you. Malaysia. Okay, fantastic. Guys, I've been in this business 21 years, and there's one thing I can definitely tell you. This is not my first market correction. This is not the first time I've seen asset bubbles burst. This is not the first time that I'm seeing inflation becoming a problem. I've heard this over and over again. When the 2008 crisis happened, inflation was a concern. When 2001, when we had 9/11 and the markets corrected, we spoke about hyperinflation. We spoke about currencies disappearing. We spoke about assets disappearing. So I want you all to think about this. What's changed in the last 20 years? What's important that's happened in the last 20 years in terms of the way people manage money? Did I do investments back in the day? Absolutely, yes, I did. I used 2001 was my first ever crisis. That's when I really saw a huge correction in markets. And I saw clients losing money. I met with people telling me, I've lost my life savings. I've burnt I've actually taken on debt to actually do investments, and now I've got liabilities that I have to pay off. And each one of this taught me something new, that we are all risk takers when the markets are going up. And we are all super conservative when markets are falling down, when we should exactly be the opposite. We should be very conservative when the markets are moving up, and we should be risk takers when the markets are moving down. We know that from the theory of finance. So financial theory has always said, be a risk taker when markets are correcting and be a conservative guy when markets are going up. We all know that. But you have to remember, our instinct, right, tells us otherwise. We've always been told, follow what everyone else is doing. And we do tend to follow. It's what we call the herd mentality. And that is the first investment bias that you will study when you do finance. The investment bias of herd mentality, people following people. But that's the truth. We have done that right from childhood. Think about it. It's a childhood philosophy that's stuck in our head. We love to copy people. We copied in school. We've copied when we grew up. Now, as we copy, what do we copy from them? We copy their money-making strategy. We copy their investment strategies. And the mistake that we do is we don't realize that we don't have the time to monitor those strategies that we've copied. We are very good with the profession that we are in. And a simple example would be like a doctor. A doctor knows medicine very well. Now you go back to a doctor and say, can you give me some money management tips? Very difficult for that person to be able to give you money management tips, but they'll give you fantastic tips when it came to medicine. I remember trading oil, right? So 2001, I started going into trading oil, trading gold. Did I make a lot of money? I did. But then I also lost a lot of money. So we always talk about when people make money, they boast about it. I made money in this, I made money in that. How many people spend time telling you about the money that they have lost? And I want you all to think about this. Most of our clients will only tell us all the times they have made money. I bought this, I bought oil at $25, I sold it at $100, I bought gold at $400, I sold it at $1,000. We hear those stories. What of the guys who bought at $2,000 and then dropped it and sold it at $700 and lost the money? Guys, that's something that a lot of people don't realize. Now, for those of you who have just joined into the session, I want you all to download the PDF notes because there are certain very important points that I have written in that PDF for you to refer back to once you have finished seeing the session. Those notes are specifically for you to refer back to. They are what we call the bullet points that I do want to share with you today, right? And for those of you who are in this business, running agencies, running systems, invite your team to join into the session because what I share with them is practical tips on how they can grow their business. Guys, 2022 is a very unique year. This year, we are still battling COVID, right? We have now moved to face-to-face sessions. We have started having face-to-face conversations with clients. We have actually gone into what we call the hybrid working mode. And that hybrid working mode, along with market corrections, allows you to have very interesting conversations with your clients. I always thought it was about asset accumulation. It was always about finding the cheapest asset to buy at the lowest price, exiting at the highest point. That is what I thought was investments. Till I was hit with 2-3 recessions. I had market corrections in 2001. I had market corrections in 2008. I had another market correction in 2012. And that's when I really learned the concept of income accumulation. It's about income, income, income. It's not about assets. That's when I truly learned it. So if you met me 10 years ago, right, I would have still been talking about asset accumulation. I would have been talking about preserving your assets. I would have been talking about investments into asset classes, finding the cheapest asset class, trying to find the right time to enter the market, exit the market, dollar cost averaging. All these concepts were the concepts of my early years in this business. Do these concepts still work? Theory-wise, they do, but they start to fall apart when there's too much volatility. So I want you all to remember this. Theory concepts work. Long-term, they might work, but they start to fall apart when there's a lot of volatility. So if you're thinking short-term, financial concepts break apart. But when you're thinking long-term, they stretch it out, they might still work. However, what if I could teach you a strategy that works short, medium, long-term, it doesn't matter. It works perpetually. If I can share that strategy with you today, that's the purpose of today's session. Sharing a strategy that your clients can employ and deploy for every generation to come. And that strategy is about income strategy. It's not an asset strategy. It's an income strategy. Think about this. Think about for your own family. Would you want your family to be asset rich or income rich? And I want you all to think about this for yourself. Do you want your family to be asset rich or income rich? How many generations do you want your family to be rich? It's very important for you to figure that out. Because if you don't understand what financial planning is, if you don't do financial planning for multiple generations, you're losing out on the opportunity that you have for your clients. Guys, all of us are financial planners and financial advisors. It's not about one market correction, but it's about multiple market corrections that are still going to come. It's not about inflation this year. It's not about inflation next year. It's about inflation that's going to stay in their portfolio for the longest time. Your retirement plans might be after 20, 40 years, right? We might not see the inflation effect today, but in 30, 40 years, you're going to see a huge impact of inflation. The insurance policies that you purchase today, think about it. Let's say you have bought $1 million of insurance today. What's the value of $1 million in 30 or 40 years? Probably not too much. So what do you need to do in terms of keeping up with times, as they call it? Which investment should I do? We've seen a meltdown over the last few days. I've heard exactly the same words that I heard in 2001. I've heard exactly the same words that I heard in 2008 from clients. I've lost my savings. I've lost a lot of money. I've heard that in the last few days, just few days. And that's why today's session is so important, because today I want each one of you all to get this correct. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made when the first recession came in. We all get scared. We all do. But what is the strategy to follow logically, right? Money can be a very emotional topic. People don't like to talk about it. Politics is a very emotional topic. People don't like to talk about it, but it's going to happen, right? We've got political agendas going around. We've got geopolitical uncertainty right now. We've got economic uncertainty right now. We've got inflationary uncertainty right now. We've got asset uncertainty right now. We've got COVID uncertainty right now. We've got so many uncertainties. It's not just about one thing. Write this down, guys, because every single one of these uncertainties is exactly the reason why we are so important in this business. What advice would you give to a client knowing that we still have a war going on? We still have COVID on the agendas. We've got economic sanctions. We've got economic meltdowns happening. We've got alternative meltdowns happening. So even the alternative investments that people talk about are falling apart. What do you do today? What do we do today? So there are a few things that I did want to talk about. Why did I even start sharing all this data and all this information with everyone? A lot of new advisors don't have the right system in place that allows them to become a better advisor. And that's what I wanted to share. That as a new advisor, if you don't build the right system, and there are two things to build in your system. Number one, you need to build your prospecting strategy. How do you get your prospects? Number two, you need to build the right sales system for yourself. Concept presentation, objection handling, closing, all these are part of your system. And the most important thing is knowing why you are in this business. Every single one of you needs to know a very simple thing. Why are you in this business? Because there are days when you will have horrible days, and there are days when you'll feel absolutely euphoric. The days when you feel good, that's no problem. But the days when you don't feel like getting out of bed, you don't feel like going and speaking to a client, you don't feel like going and speaking to a prospect, on those days, you need to ask yourself this question: why am I in this business? On those days, if you don't know the answer to this question, you will find a reason to quit. So a lot of new advisors have not built a system of motivating themselves on a daily basis, of building a prospecting strategy on a daily basis, a closing strategy on a daily basis. On a daily basis, you should be closing. On a daily basis, you should be prospecting. On a daily basis, you should be doing your presentations on a daily basis. Sanjay, when do I take a weekend? That's the other system that we miss out on. Who do you want to work with? If you're not happy meeting with your clients on a weekend, that means you're working with the wrong people. Think about it. It's not about getting a weekend. It's about spending time with the right people. if your clients are not your friends, if your clients are not like family to you, if your clients are not someone whose future interests are important to you, you're working with the wrong people. How many of you have clients who call you and you look at the telephone number and you're like, I don't want to speak to him? And I want you all to think about this. If you ever have that feeling where you have a client calling and you're like, I don't want to pick up this call right now, that is a type of client you want to avoid. That's a type of client you want to avoid onboarding as your client. We are in a very long-term business, guys. The promise that we have made to our clients is the promise that we have made to our family. Till death do us part. Through sickness and health, through rich and poor, I'll be with you. That's the promise we have given to our clients. Till death do us part. One of us has to die. Through sickness and health, if you're well, you're unwell, I will be with you. Through rich and poor, when things are good, when things are bad, I will be with you. That's the promise that you've given to your clients. It's as good as a marriage. I need you all to pick that up, is understand you will not just marry anybody in the market. You'll marry the ones that you're most comfortable being with. So if you're a new advisor watching this, I want you all to try and start building a system now. If your foundation is wrong, your building grows incorrectly. So make sure your foundation is correct. Build the right system so that you can build a whole structure that will help you last in this business a long time. 21 years in this business. Have I made a lot of mistakes? Absolutely, yes. Have I made the mistake that I'm telling you about? Absolutely, yes, I have. I've taken on clients that I wish I didn't have. Don't make the same mistakes. Learn to correct those mistakes if you have. Guys, this business is a very, very, very long-term business. It's a career that stays with you for pretty much your whole life. You don't even have to retire from this career because you will enjoy it so much. You're spending that time with amazing people. The second problem that I've noticed, and I want to change this, is I hate it when advisors talk bad about each other. And I've noticed this in a lot of markets. We don't talk good about each other. Think about this, guys. The worst feeling is knowing that someone you know is talking bad about you, or you talking bad about someone else. We all are in the same mission to make sure that our clients have a financially secured future. We all are in that exact same mission. We all are working towards the same target, making sure that our clients are secured. Please don't talk bad about each other. Learn to respect the profession, because if you don't, there's a problem. Now, for those of you who have just joined in, welcome to the session, because today's session is very simply about making sure that you've got the right system in place for your business. So if you have just joined in, I want you all to really download the PDF, because I do want you to have those as your reference notes. If your team hasn't the session, invite them to join in. It's a session that will help them become better. And each one of you is very important for your clients. Don't ever forget that. So I do want to tell you that, get that straight. Let's say you're competing against another advisor, right? What is the choice of words that you should use with your clients to not sound like, why not choose me? And I want you all to think about this. When you go to a doctor and you say, I'd gone to this other doctor before, what do they say? That doctor has that as an expertise. And I'm sure they gave you the correct advice based on their expertise. But my expertise is based on so-and-so. So each one of us needs to learn how to become a specialist in our choice of products. Every single one of us has certain products we like, and every single one of us have products that we don't like. Think about it. I want all of you all today to take a pen and paper, right? Don't write this in the chat box, because I don't want people to know everything. I want you to take a pen and paper, and I want you to write down the name of the products in your company that you absolutely love working with, products that you truly believe in. When you write down the list of products that you truly believe in, you will know exactly what you should specialize in. So instead of becoming a one-stop shop, instead of becoming that one guy who can do everything, right? I want each one of you all to learn to becoming specialists, because if you don't become a specialist in this business, you will not be respected for the kind of advice that you give. Don't become a supermarket. a one-stop shop is not the way forward in our business. Becoming a specialist, think about it. You just look at the head, right? Every single part of the head has a different specialist. The brain has a different doctor, so we call them neurologists. The eyes have a different doctor. The ears have a different doctor. The nose has a different doctor. Your teeth have a different doctor. Can you imagine you go to a neurologist and say, I'm having pain in my tooth? What will that neurologist say? I think you've come to the wrong doctor. You need to go to a dentist. And imagine you go to a dentist and say, I'm having a lot of headache. I'm feeling dizzy and I've got, the world is rotating around me. They'll actually tell you, go to a neurologist. So learn to respect each other's specialty. Choose your specialty. There's enough business in the world. There's enough clients in the market, but we don't have enough specialists. So if there's something you want to become competitive on, is become competitive in your area of specialization rather than being competitive on product. Please remember, almost all the insurance companies have the same products. You die, I pay. You fall sick, I pay. You retire, I pay. Your kids go to college, I pay. There are only 4 products in our business. So almost all the insurance companies have same products. What makes us different is the advisor that's helping you with those products. You have to learn to choose your area of expertise. What are you a specialist with? And please do not become a one-stop shop. Because when you become a one-stop shop, you're basically saying, I'll do anything and everything for you, which is not true. You devalue your actual value proposition to your clients and their families. So I want you all to remember this. And please do not talk bad about other advisors. If you see there's bad advice, report it. Report it to your company, but never badmouth an advisor in front of your client. If you feel there's someone who's done something wrong, you can report it to the regulators. You can report it to your company, but please do not devalue our profession. Learn to become professionals in this business. Learn to hold up the reputation of our industry in front of our clients. Support our industry. Help your clients understand the product. If they have doubts about it, tell them what are the questions they should be asking their advisor. That's all right. But please do not devalue your value proposition to your clients. Because if you do that, it affects all of us, not just one person, but it affects all of us, including me. And that's the reason why I started this whole mentoring family, so that I can share with you that, guys, we need to learn to uplift our profession together. I am married to this business. This business is the most important part of my life. It's a career that I look forward to working in. It's a career that I want to build. It's a business that I want to be successful in. But our success as a profession is purely based on the way we build our own reputation. Who wants to become an insurance agent? Think about it. How many people join the world of insurance by mistake? They joined because someone said, why don't you try it? There were 3 things that I was sold when I was joining this business. Sanjay, you'll have flexibility of time. Sanjay, you'll have the freedom to earn as much money as you like. Sanjay, you'll have the opportunity to work with whoever you like. That's the dream. How many of us are earning as much money as we like? How many of you are working with people that you like? And how many of you feel that you have freedom of time? That is the mistake that we made. The truth is, our business gives us all these 3 opportunities. But how many of us actually value these 3 opportunities? How many of you choose your clients? How many of you actually focus on building your business so that you can earn as much as you like? And how many of you actually have got time to do whatever makes you happy? If you truly build this business, you will have all 3. But I can't do this alone. We as a profession have to do it together. And that's why please stop talking bad about each other and learn to support your fellow advisors. If you see someone doing something wrong, go to them, talk about it. Tell them, I saw you give this advice. Don't you think this could have been a better advice? Just out of curiosity. Have an educated debate. Have an educated conversation. If you feel someone's doing something on purpose, go and report it. Go and speak to your company. Go and speak to your regulator and say, I saw this happening and I thought this was incorrect. Go and report it. Why not? It happens in every profession. It happens in the world of medicine. It happens in the world of lawyers. It happens in the world of accountants. It happens in the world of educators. It happens in almost every world that we will have some black sheep. We will have some bad apples. But when that happens, we as a profession need to come together to remove those bad apples and not spoil the reputation for everyone. That's the secret to making our profession very good. The third reason why I wanted to share my knowledge was because I saw a lot of people who are not even practitioners in our business who are sharing knowledge, which is all theoretical, but they actually are not working. And I saw that and I was very upset about the quality of information that was being spread by these guys who don't know anything about our business. They're not insurance advisors. They're just sharing knowledge which they themselves have never tested. There's a lot of theory on finance. All right, there's a lot of theory on marketing. There's a lot of theory on sales. But those theories don't work very well for the insurance world. I want you all to think about it. How many people wake up in the morning and say, today I want to buy life insurance? Yes, they might wake up one day and say, I want to buy car insurance. I want to buy travel insurance. I want to buy home insurance. But how many people wake up any morning and think, you know what? Today I'm going to go and buy life insurance. Or today I'm going to go and do research on life insurance. They usually don't. When does that get triggered? So that trigger to buy insurance, or that trigger to buy income protection or critical illness insurance, that trigger usually happens when they've just fallen sick and they can't afford and they can't get covered. Insurance is a product that can only be purchased when you don't need it. Insurance is a product that can only be purchased when you don't need it, because when you need it, you can't purchase it. That's the problem with our business. You see, most of our clients don't need insurance. Most of our clients don't need insurance, but when they need it, they can't get it. So the only time you can purchase insurance is when you don't need it. So if you don't need it, why would someone go and buy it? Think about it. Nobody buys insurance because they need it. They buy insurance because we sell it. And that's the problem with our product, that when clients need our product, they can't buy it. You can only buy it when you don't need it. You have to be healthy to buy it. And when you're healthy, you actually don't need it. But as soon as you become unhealthy and you need insurance, you can't buy it. True or not? You see the problem, guys. Whereas all the other, so any other product, you can buy it when you need it. Insurance is the only product you have to buy when you don't need it. And that's why it's not a priority. And that's why the standard sales practice, the standard distribution doesn't work for insurance. It might work for other products, but it doesn't work for our product, because our product is only available when you don't need it. It's a backup plan. Nobody actually has the incentive to buy our products. Think about it. All of us have bought a car. How many of us actually ask the car company, can you put extra seat belts? Can you put extra tires? Can you put extra airbags? We don't. We take standard. If they did not put seat belts, you actually don't care. So till you don't actually have an accident, you don't value a seat belt. Till you don't actually have a crash, you don't actually value an airbag. Till you don't have a punctured tire, you don't value a spare tire. How many of you have actually checked on your spare tire? All of us have a spare tire in our car. How many of you have done a maintenance on your spare tires? Think about it. It is never on your agenda. Even when your car goes for service, you don't ask the service center to check if your spare tire is fine. How many of you have ever replaced your spare tire? Think about it. That is your insurance. It's not your priority. You will do an oil change because you use it every day. You will add fuel to your car because it's an everyday need. You will check your air pressure tires for your regular tires, which you use every day. How many of you check the air pressure of your spare tire? Because when you need it, if it's not there, it doesn't work. That's insurance. Insurance is a seat belt. Insurance is an airbag. Insurance is a spare tire. That's what insurance is. It is not a priority for people. And that's why the sales process for the world of insurance is very different. So when I see these non-practitioners who have no clue about selling insurance talking about insurance sales and talking about acquiring clients, etc., they've got the sales process wrong. They actually don't understand what the insurance sales process looks like. And that's the reason why I wanted to share this knowledge for free with all of you. Why am I doing the session for free? So that each one of you gets your basics correct. Because if your basics are incorrect, your foundation is wrong, you cannot build this practice. You cannot build this business. And the fourth and the most important thing that I really want to cover today, or I want you to understand that I'm trying to change, is public's perception about us. I want every single insurance advisor to be proud of the business that we do. I want each and every single insurance advisor to feel happy about everything that we do. Because in our business, none of us are very happy about sharing our designation. Think about it. We find creative ways to tell what we do. We'll call ourselves financial engineers. We call ourselves financial builders. We'll call ourselves financial architects. We'll call ourselves financial gurus. We'll call ourselves financial, I don't know, planners. We create all these very creative ways to explain what we do, when in the end, we're actually just insurance advisors. We use insurance as a mechanism to protect clients' money. We use insurance as a product to help clients pass on wealth. We talk about insurance, using insurance as a way to build an income stream. Think about it. We are not very proud of the work that we do. We're not proud of our designation. And that's because of the stigma attached with our profession. So because of that stigma, I wanted to create this mentoring family to help everyone elevate the concept of public perception. Because we as a community need to work together to build the reputation of our industry. And that's the reason why I'm doing today's session as well. I want each one of you all to focus on building the reputation for our business. So what we'll be learning today? I want to go through the list of the biggest mistakes that I have made and the mistakes that you should be avoiding in this business. Because I have made mistakes. I'm not saying I haven't. I've actually made a lot of mistakes in our business. But I do want to share with you what are the biggest mistakes that you should be avoiding. I'm also going to talk about what are the 7 ways that would affect, the 7 ways to build your career. So what are the 7 things that if you do correctly, you'll be able to build the career path. And the last thing is I want to talk about the latest trends that happened during Q1, which will affect your business in Q2, Q3, and Q4. So I'm talking about Q2, which is a very important part of our business. It is probably one of the most important parts of how we will end the year. So Q2 and Q3 play a very important role in how you do your final sprint. If you don't put in the right work during Q2 and Q3, your final sprint will get affected. And that's the reason why I wanted to do the session, that I can give you the best final sprint strategies. But if you haven't done Q2 well and you haven't done Q3 well, final sprint becomes very difficult. So I do want to share with you what are the latest trends, what am I focusing on, and what are the conversations that I'm having with my clients. And that's what I want to share with you today as well, right? So coming to the 7 biggest mistakes that I have made and things that you should avoid. I've heard this from a lot of my mentees, right? So a lot of mentees have told me this. They said, Sanjay, I always think that I don't have enough prospects. How many of you have a prospecting problem? Be honest to me. We all are, all of us who are in this session today are pretty much financial advisors. So tell me, how many of you have a prospecting problem? All right. How many of us have a prospecting problem? I would love to know that. Okay. Harshvardhan says, I have. Ravi says, I have. James, okay. All right. Kylie, okay. Shirley, Mimi. Tokir, you don't have a prospecting problem, my friend. I know you. So this is something that I need all of you all to understand, right? That prospecting as a problem. We don't have a prospecting problem. We have a conversation problem. All of you know many people. I want each one of you all to think about this. Just take your phone book. Yeah, just take your mobile phone. All right. Look at the number of contacts that you have. You all know at least 300 to 400 people, if not more. I know some of you have got 1,000+ contacts on your phone book. It's not that you don't know people. The problem is you don't know what to speak to them. So prospecting is not the real problem. In the olden times, right? In the 20th century, prospecting was a problem. I want you all to think about this. In the 20th century, for me to get in touch with somebody was very difficult. Today, I can get in touch with you on WhatsApp. I can get in touch with you on a phone call. I can get in touch with you by email. I can get in touch with you by a Facebook message. I can get in touch with you through an Instagram message. I can get in touch with people. Prospecting is not the problem. Prospecting used to be the problem of the 20th century. But in the 21st century, prospecting is not the problem. You know a lot of people. The problem is you don't know what to say to them. You don't know what the conversation should be. So I want you all to understand this. Remove this first misunderstanding from your brain that you have a prospecting problem. You actually know a lot of people. And I think, you know what the real problem is? You know so many people that you actually don't know who to speak to first. So the true problem is not that you don't have prospects. The problem is you have too much choice. You have the choice to work with whoever you like from your whole database, from your network. You have the choice to work with any one of them. It's just that you don't know who to start with. And I want you all to try doing this today. I want you all to start going through your phone book and looking at all the contacts that you wish you had a relationship with. So forget sales for now. I want you all to stop thinking sales. And I want you all to start thinking relationships. I want you all to start thinking about having a conversation. Stop thinking sales. Let's keep sales on the side for now. All right, because I know all of you all are under the pressure that when I meet someone, I have to sell. Let's remove sales from the picture. Okay. And I want you all to start looking at your contact list on your phone, on your Facebook, on your Instagram. I want you all to start looking at your contact list as the relationships that you want to build. Guys, our business is not a sales business. Our business is a relationship business. The more relationships you have, the better your sales will automatically be. So let's keep sales on the side. Sales is a byproduct of our actual business. Our actual business is maintaining good relationships and giving fantastic advice. That is our true business. Sales is only a measurement of how good we do these two things. So sales is only a measurement of how good your relationships are and how good your advice is. So I want you all to think about that.
Now, if you want to learn more about how to handle almost any insurance objection in 60 seconds, the good news is on the 23rd of May, I'll be conducting a live workshop sharing with you the insurance buying process to learn the psychology behind insurance and the root of how objections arise. The second thing I'll be covering is my 2022 60-second objection table. Learn the 2022 objection framework that has helped me counter almost every insurance objection in 2021. This is what helped me from going from 1 MDRT to over 372 MDRT. The third thing I'll be covering is the 6 major types of insurance objections, and I'll show you real life how I handle every objection using the framework I've created and how to generate relevant examples to support each objection handling process. Lastly, you will get access to 30+ objection handling case studies that I'm using in 2022. Now, these are new scripts and examples that I've tested and proven to be working very well. Now, till date, more than millions of advisors have learned the objection framework. I designed it in 2018, so in 2022, I'm excited to be upgrading it and to show you even better, a more efficient framework. So see you on the 23rd of May at the 60 Seconds Objection Handling Workshop.